So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. So guys, I wanted to do a video about Demetrius Andrade and Liam Williams. I think this is a very underrated fight. I don't think this fight has got the backing or the pushing, I should say, that it deserves. I think it's an actually very good fight. And I think a lot of the Americans are dismissing Liam Williams. And they do that because I don't think, you know, when they feel they don't know much about a fighter, they think, oh, it's another UK fighter coming over to get bashed up. I actually think Liam Williams is a very good fighter, and he's going to give Andrade some issues here. I don't think this is an easy fight. Now, Andrade is a very slick, top quality fighter. I must say, I'm a big fan of Andrade. I'm a fan. I think he's a good fighter. I just think he's not been pushed that well or marketed that well. I think now Eddie Hearn's got hold of him. I think that's probably the best thing for Andrade, because Eddie Hearn, we all know, is a great promoter, and he knows how to market and get his fighters out there, you know. And I do think this is a good fight, and I do think this is going to be a fight which Liam Williams will test Andrade for sure. I don't think this is by any means a pushover. You know, Williams can fight. Williams can really fight. You know, he's a good pressure fighter. He's tough. And I feel like he's got underrated boxing skills. I think he's going to give Andrade trouble here. Now, if Andrade is as good as we think he is, he should beat Liam Williams. But again, I'm not overly confident. Like, I think this is one of those fights where if Andrade really I think this is one of the fights where I think Andrade can become a legit fighter amongst all the UK fans. I think the UK, if he goes in there and destroys Liam Williams, I think the UK fans will say, you know what, this guy's a talent. I think the UK fans will accept Demetrius Andrade as a top fighter. I think Demetrius Andrade right now, a lot of people question his resume and say, who's he fought? I think if he goes in there and wipes the floor and outclasses Liam Williams, I do think that, you know, the UK fans will definitely say, well, this guy can fight. And not to say that they don't think that now, because he is a good slick fighter, but people do question his resume. I do think that the UK fans will have a lot more respect, I think, if he goes in there and does a job on someone like Liam Williams. But Liam Williams is not one to be overlooked. Liam Williams is a guy that he wants this. And you can see it when he's talking in his interviews. He's not messing around. He wants this. He really wants to win this world title. You know, it's not been easy for him to get this mandatory shot. He's wanted it for a very long time. So he isn't going to come there just to lie down. He's coming there to win. And I think this is a very tough fight. I actually think that people are overlooking Liam Williams. And I think he's going to give a very good count of himself. Now, I am picking Andrade just because I think Andrade's the better boxer. He's got the better skills. I think he's very slick, very hard to hit. But by no means am I thinking it's going to be a mismatch or a pushover for Andrade, like some people are thinking. You know, I think this is going to be a very good fight, and one that I'm going to be watching. If it's not a fight that I stay up for most fights, but it's very late in the morning, and if I didn't think it would be a good fight, I wouldn't stay up for it, to be honest. I'll just watch the highlight and then do a review the following day. But the reason why I'm going to stay up and most likely do a watch along is because I rate Liam Williams. I think Liam Williams is going to bring some heat to this fight, and I think Liam Williams is going to definitely push Andrade. It's going to be for Andrade to show us that he's a class above. If Liam Williams pulls this off, that'll be a huge win. It'd be great for British boxing. He becomes a world champion. Obviously, Liam Williams has never been a world champion. I can't remember when he fought Liam Smith, was that for the world title? It might have been. So this is his second chance. Probably against a better fighter, a more skilled fighter. Although I'm a big fan of Liam Smith as well. As you know, people that watch my channel, I like Liam Smith. But I think Andrade is a more slick, difficult fighter. He's a southpaw, tricky guy. You know, and he's a skillful fighter. And people say that Andrade can't punch, and Andrade's not. I actually think he can be explosive when he wants to be. I think Andrade, I saw him against Keeler and hit him with a left hand. That was a thing of beauty. I can't remember when it was. It was in the 7th round. He hit him with a huge right left hand, and it was a thing of beauty. It was a beautiful punch. And I think that Andrade is very, very good, very, very good. And I think Dom Ingle pointed it out that, you know, he's 33 years of age, and he hasn't really improved much since, you know, when he's seen him against Brian Rose. There's not been much development. We haven't really seen him fight against top-level opposition. And he questioned whether Andrade is lazy. Possibly. You know, why hasn't he been in the ring with the top fighters? I don't know. It's a tricky one, because when a guy's been talked about, and he's been around for a very long time, because I remember that Brian Rose fight, and he was very highly rated then. But he hasn't fought anybody, you know, and he fought anybody in the sense that he hasn't had any high-profile fights, any super fights. You know, and he's 33 now, so he's not young. You know, 33, he's getting on. He should have had at least a couple of big fights by now. You know, but so even though he's 33, he's a young 33, because he hasn't really had many miles on the clock. He hasn't been in a lot of tough fights. So, you know, this may be his toughest fight till date. You know, when you think about Andrade resume, there's not a lot of names that stick out, or if any stick out, to be honest. So let's see how he let's see how he gets on against Williams. I don't think this is going to be an easy fight, and I do think Liam Williams is going to be a tough test. And if Andrade is overlooking him, it could be a banana skin for sure. It could be a dangerous fight, because, like I said, Liam Williams is a very, very good fighter. Now, Andrade has said that he doesn't think Liam Williams is a top fighter. He doesn't think Liam Williams is a top fighter in the middleweight or super middleweight division. He's not the toughest fights out there. I don't think it. Like I said, I think Liam Williams is a good fighter, and I think he's. I think, you know, he's. If Andrade thinks that, he'd probably be overlooking him a little, because I do think Liam Williams hasn't got the name that some of those guys have got, but he is a good fighter. He is a good fighter, and Andrade was questioning Liam Williams' resume, but you've got to have a look at your resume. You know, it's all right questioning his resume, but what about your resume? You know, he questioned the fact that Liam Williams had lost to Liam Smith. But when I look at Andrade's resume, who's he fought as good as Liam Smith? Has he fought anyone as good as Liam Smith? Or is there anyone on Andrade's record that would beat Liam Smith? Selecki? I don't think so. I don't think so. But that, nonetheless, if Andrade, the favourite going into the fight, if he was to win, right? If he was to win, which I'm picking him, but I do think that Liam Williams, I hope Liam Williams can pull it off. And I'm obviously backing the Brit to go out there and do the job. But if I'm being honest, I think Andrade might be a little too slick. But I hope Liam Williams pulls this off. But if Andrade is successful, you know, they're talking about fights with him and Canelo Alvarez. They're talking about fights with him and Golovkin. They're talking about fights with him and Billy Joe. They're talking about fights with him and Charlo. We need to see those fights. Benavidez, we need to see those fights, right? You know, he's talking about those fights. After this Liam Williams fight, if he is successful, we need to see him in the ring with those guys. We need to see him in the ring with a Charlo, with a Benavidez, with a Golovkin. Like, it needs to be one of those guys next. Otherwise, the public's just going to get frustrated with Andrade. Because, to be honest with you, I just don't see anyone else. Like, who else do you want to see Andrade fight next? It has to be one of those top guys. All right, we know that Canelo's cleaning up the 168-pound division, but Andrade has to fight a Charlo or a Golovkin. His Charlo fight's going to be unlikely, because Charlo's with PBC and this guy's with DAZN, so that fight, in my opinion, won't be made. But the Golovkin fight, they're both on DAZN. Jaime Munguia, that's a good fight, but Munguia's not champion. Murata. You know, Eubank. If Eubank can beat Murata, that's a good fight. That's a big name. Eubank's a good fight. Billy Joe. Let's see how Billy Joe gets on against Canelo, because obviously we don't know what's going to happen. If he wins or loses, he's going to probably rematch Canelo. If he wins, if he loses, Billy Joe might disappear. You know, we don't know what he's going to do. So I want to see Andrade fight someone in the middleweight division. I want to see him fight Golovkin, because personally, I think that would be a hard fight, because I don't think Andrade has power. Is Golovkin the same fighter he was? Is Golovkin going to want to fight Andrade? That's questionable, because, again, what does Andrade bring that Golovkin wants? Is Golovkin in the mindset that he really wants to unify or become undisputed? I don't think so. I just think he's looking for 1 or 2 more paydays with Canelo, and then probably looking to see off into the sunset. I think he wants 1 more fight with Canelo, and he knows if he fights at Andrade and loses, then that's not going to happen. So I'm really looking forward to see what happens. In fact, I'm really looking forward to this fight between Williams and Andrade, because I think this is going to be a good fight. But if Andrade, the favorite going into the fight, was to win, I'm also intrigued to see what he does next and who he fights next, because I think the next fight has to be a big fight. I don't think it can be another one of the guys that he's been fighting. I think it has to be a big name. It has to be a big. See, no disrespect to Liam Williams. Liam Williams is a very good fighter, and like Steve Bunce went back and forth with Demetrius Andrade. He said that Liam Williams hasn't got the name of some of those big names, but he's a tough fighter, and he is a tough fighter. I'll give him that. But if he beats someone like Liam, if Andrade beats Liam Williams on the weekend, then we need to see Andrade fight one of those big names. It can't be another, a guy with not a big profile like a Liam Williams. It has to be somebody that's world champion. It has to be a unification fight. It has to be a big fight next. It has to be. Because, like I said, Andrade's not getting any younger. And his career's passing by without him fighting. He hasn't had one big fight yet, really, when you think about it. Where's the big... he's 33. He's a 2-weight world champion. But yet, it doesn't seem like he's had a big fight. This isn't a big fight, by the way. This is a good fight. This is an intriguing fight, because I think he's fighting someone that's dangerous. I think he's fighting someone in Liam Williams that could beat him. It's a dangerous fight. However, it's not a big fight. It's not one of the big names in the division. It's not one that the Americans will be looking forward to. It's us Brits, because we know what Liam Williams can do. And Liam Williams is a good fighter. But if he was to beat someone like Liam Williams, it has to be a big name next. It has to be a Golovkin, Charlo, a Murata, someone of that level. It has to be. Or a Benavidez, or a Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant's unlikely to happen, because Caleb Plant's probably going to fight Canelo after that. Even Billy Joe, like if he was to lose to Canelo, which people expect him to, that might not be an option either. So it's going to be tricky. Actually, Billy Joe could happen if he was to lose to Canelo. It's whether Andrade will be willing to fight Billy Joe if he comes off a loss. Depending on how he loses as well. Will Andrade want to fight Billy Joe? Probably not. Because I actually think Billy Joe's ideal weight is at middleweight. And I would like to see how he gets on with someone like Andrade. I think that would be a very good fight. But again, we just need to see where Billy Joe Saunders' motivation would be at. If he was to lose, he may win. And then he may not need Andrade. He'll just fight Canelo. And again, so it's very intriguing, and I'm very intrigued to see whether Andrade gets those big fights. Andrade wants Golovkin. He wants Canelo. He isn't a very big name. He isn't a high-profile name. But he's a risk. He's a good fighter. He's a slick fighter. But I don't think Golovkin and Canelo and those guys are scared to fight him. No way. They'd fight him in a heartbeat. It's just that, for me, he doesn't have anything that they're interested in right now. Because let's be honest, when Golovkin was in his prime, I didn't see Andrade going out and calling him out and wanting to fight Golovkin. When Golovkin was beating everybody up, I didn't see Andrade say, let me go up to 160 and fight Golovkin. I believe I can beat him, because at that time, Golovkin would have fought him in a heartbeat. Golovkin, nobody wanted to fight him. Just like Andrade said, no one's looking to fight Andrade. The same way, no one was looking to fight Golovkin. But I didn't see Andrade saying, I'm going to go up to 160 to fight Golovkin when he was in his prime. So, listen, I want to see these fights, man. I want to see these fights. Hopefully, they can make a Golovkin fight. See, the Golovkin fight's a fight that possibly could be made, because Golovkin and, what's his name? Andrade are on the same platform. They're both with DAZN. So, it's a fight that should be made. Will it be made? God knows. But hopefully they do make it. Leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think. Who do you think wins, Liam Williams or Andrade? And if Andrade is to be successful, who do you want to see him fight next? Leave your thoughts, guys. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.